Hello, and welcome back to Saving People, Queering Things, the supernatural podcast where, hey la, Dean's boyfriend's back.
Hey la, my boyfriend is back.
Yes!
Yeah,
Finally! The world's longest season.
Holly freaking Luya.
This is why we don't like this season very much. No, this is why the season ranks low, is because there's so little Cass in it.
In
This is why
hindsight,
Elena doesn't like it.
it makes perfect sense, and I love it. But that means today we are pulling up to Season 7, Episode 17, The Born Again Identity. I'm your host, Noah, pronouns he, him.
I'm August, and my pronouns are they, them.
I'm Sam. My pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Elena, pronouns she, they.
The question of the day I have for my co-hosts is picture yourself with a partner that you love very dearly for 3 years. And then, they're kind of wishy-washy, but then they go missing for 8 months, something like that. During that time, your dad dies. And then you find him again, having lost his memory. You find your partner and bam, no memories of you, of anything. How are you reacting? How are you handling?
Real fucking well. Can tell
Why
you
does
that.
he hurt me in this way, Noah, is my question for you.
That's
It's
just my...
Not good.
Mm, mm.
Not well, I don't think.
not well.
I mean, I'd probably be a mopey little bitch about it, but,
So
I
you'd
think
be
I
like...
would be owed that in that situation.
I do think it would be incredibly difficult to not just like even
Make
if
hard
it
eyes at
wasn't
them the entire time.
well, and not just tell them. Like I feel like even if like psychologically that's not necessarily like the wisest thing to do. I feel like I'd want to just be like, here's all the information that you don't have, even though that would be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And probably not recommended.
Yeah. Would my therapist recommend I tell them no? Would I do it anyway? Most likely.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Therapists don't know everything. Come on.
I don't know. Mine might. She's pretty good.
She's pretty good.
You know?
Yeah. I feel like I would try everything in my power to figure out a way for them to get their memory back.
I'd be dropping poles accidentally. Oh, I'm
Like,
sorry. Did that
perhaps
bonk you?
give them the coat you've been carrying around from car to car while you've been
Oh my God, we are gonna get so into that. I cannot
boy.
wait. But
This is like one of the Destiel episodes. It really is.
yes, absolutely. Speaking of, now that you've met all of us so far, now that you've met your hosts for today, it's time to catch you guys up. If you guys haven't watched Supernatural recently, here's what you've missed on the road so far. First up, August is going to recap the show up to this point. Are you ready?
Ready to rock and roll.
3, 2, 1, go.
So Sam and Dean, hunters, save the world multiple times. But in that process, met an angel named Castiel. Castiel, Dean have a whole thing. Castiel sort of betrays them. Very complicated heaven politics. Goes missing after sort of sacrificing himself to try and fix the mistakes that he made. Has been missing for a long time. Dean's really mopey about it. Everyone's having just a really, really fun time this season.
Ooh, damn, that was good.
Just the relevant. I was like, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know what's relevant leading into this episode.
Just the cast stuff.
very solid.
Just the
I
cat stuff.
Love it. There were a lot of sortas in there. He sort of betrays them. He sort of sacrifices himself.
I mean, it's not like no, you're not wrong. That was a linguistic choice that I made. It was intentional.
fine. I just think it really speaks to your cast apologism coming out, you know?
I'm Dean coded. What can I say?
Uh-huh.
What can I say?
You're not the only one.
Now it's Elena's turn to recap this week's episode. Are you ready, Elaine?
Sure. I'm gonna try a new method this week because
Uh-oh.
I had rewatched this episode like a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
Before I even remembered I had to be on it, so I didn't rewatch it today. So I'm just gonna scrub through the timeline on and tell you what I see, and that's how we're gonna do.
Okay.
I'm gonna beep out
Cool.
that company
I
name
love
because
that.
we're not giving them any information.
Because I'm like, I know this episode. I've seen it dozens of times. It just
I
happened
believe in you.
not within the last month.
You got this.
Okay, so I'm ready whenever.
3, 2, 1, go.
So Sam is being a little angst muffin because he's having hallucinations of the devil, and then Dean is really sad because he realizes, oh no, Sammy is broke and I don't know what to do. So then he's calling around for help, and then this dude who they've never talked to before and will never talk to again decides to help. He tells him to go see this guy named Emmanuel. Oops, Emmanuel is his ex, and he doesn't remember him, and it sucks and it's sad, and Dean makes very big hard eyes at him the whole time. And then they decide to go to try and save Sam, but there's demons, then there's Meg, and then there's Clarence, and then they Save Sam by Cass being taking it on himself. Blah.
That was really good. That was great.
There was
For a second, I thought I was on mute the whole time, and I almost panicked. Oh no!
No.
I had to make the Clarence reference, though.
That was good. I like that.
Such a good reference. I always appreciate when we get it.
Well, hey, now that we're all caught up, it's time to jump right into this week's hunt. Today, like we said, episode 17 of season 7, The Born Again Identity. And our theme this week is desperation, which is so fitting.
AKA
Very
what
fitting.
Dean feels for Cass in every waking moment of his life.
Yes.
See,
Oh
being
boy,
free.
this theme works really, really well for both plot lines that are happening, like both the Sam plot line and the Castiel plot line.
Yeah.
I think we should. I feel like we gotta talk about both, but I feel like we should give some content warnings first.
Good call.
There is some heavy stuff in the content of this episode, so our discussion will most likely include conversations about psychosis, hallucinations, insomnia, despair, depression, references to torture, particularly mental, and trauma and loss. So listen with care if you are listening, and take care of yourself. And
Definitely some religious trauma, too. We're going to
Yes,
get into
and-
a bunch of those.
yes,
You know,
and as
usual fare for Supernatural.
and as always, we will do our best to talk about these issues with as much care and compassion as we can. Let's get into it.
I think
Sam
we have
is
to
not
start
doing it.
with the Sam side of things because we're going to
think
talk
so.
about Castiel the whole rest of the episode. That's what it
Sam
feels
is not doing well.
like. No, I've been awake for
That door
So
he
long.
opened.
Yeah,
Has
if
not
Sam
closed.
this episode were a meme, he would be that Bo Burnham one where it's like, "How we feeling out here tonight? I am not feeling good."
Yeah. And it just gets worse and worse. And you like see it in his face.
Mhm. His
He's just-
hopelessness.
He's over it. Yeah.
It's crushing.
I do
Hard
think they
to
do a
watch.
good job.
Crushing.
I do think Jared does a good job of portraying the degeneration and the like desperation that Sam is
Yeah.
feeling throughout this episode, and how that sort of ramps up as the episode goes on.
Mad props to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and still, because Sam is still trying to, like, early on in the episode, he's still trying to make jokes. He's still trying to, like,
Mhm.
have rapport with Dean. And, like, as the episode goes on, you see him less and less able to sort of even put on, like, a facade of,
Yeah.
like, I'll be
Yeah.
okay.
He keeps like he ends up going completely monotone with everything he says. Like there's no variation. He's just so downtrodden.
Yeah. Well, he
Well-
has zero energy, and Jared plays
Mhm.
that really well. Like you can feel that he just has no energy to even have any tone in his voice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
And like if we're talking about like desperation, like at that point he's almost past desperation. He's just full on into like despair. Like he doesn't have any. He's not desperate for a solution. He's sort of resigned himself to the idea that there isn't one.
Yeah.
Too soon for a secret despair reference.
I do want to point out another reference that happens in this episode because I want to talk about it in terms of the Castiel stuff, but I also want to talk about it in terms of the Sam stuff. Sam references Faith, like the episode.
He
Oh, really?
does, doesn't he?
He does. So when he talks, when Dean is like, we're going to find a solution, Sam's like, how? Like the last time we did that didn't end. Basically, he talks about the fact that like the last time that there was a medical issue where they tried to find help.
It was costing other people's lives. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not willing to pay that price again.
Which Sam referencing that as like the reason why that they won't be able to help him, like very painful.
Somewhat seems like it does all come back to faith.
Yeah,
as
especially
one
now.
might say.
That's. I don't feel like we've ever mentioned that on this
I
show.
don't think so. It's not like
Topic
a
that
theme
Feels
of ours.
wildly unaddressed here.
Yeah. It's not like it's in my notes for this episode like 5 times.
Not like it's in our notes every week.
I'm so curious. I think I want to go back and just rewatch that one episode and just have it be a little bit more fresh now that I know what I know.
I think you should. I think this would be a
Yeah.
good point in the show for you to go back and rewatch that episode. Actually, I think it would be a good time for all of us to go back and maybe do a rewatch of that episode and
Well, yeah,
re-record that
because-
episode.
Noah and I weren't even on the show when you
No.
did that one.
No, it's
Well,
been
pretty
so
part of
long.
maybe at the end of the season as an extra bonus.
Yeah, it might be a good bonus episode. Look at back at
that would be a fun one to live stream.
Ooh, folks, this might be a lot. We might do a
That's a
live
good
stream
idea.
episode for the first time. I love
Where
this
would
idea.
we do that? YouTube?
Yeah, we could do
Yeah.
it on YouTube, Twitch.
Oh yeah, the Pod Squad gaming channel. We should get that started too.
Yeah, we will figure that out and we will let y'all know when that's going to happen. But for now, yeah. I don't even know where to start fully with this Sam stuff because there's
so much.
There's a lot to talk about.
I'll start. Mark Pellegrino sucks. Anyway.
Yes, he's so annoying in this episode.
This characterization of Lucifer, I hate it. I hate it so much because it's like it's just like it turns him into a caricature, whereas like Lucifer used to be genuinely terrifying.
Yeah.
And now he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
But
And
it's interesting.
Makes me really sad that this is what Sam's subconscious is doing to him.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting because this is Sam's subconscious. And like Noah, we talked a little bit like last week about your kind of theories and feelings about Lucifer's kind of reappearance. And I don't know if you want to like briefly recap that for Elena and Sam, just because I feel like it's relevant, very relevant again. Your theory. I was thinking about your theory. I was thinking about your theory about Lucifer in this episode.
Him making himself a little goofy little guy, just like silly, so that it gets them to let his guard down. Is that?
Well, no, like you talked a little bit last week about like how you think it's not just in Sam's mind. Like this is not just Sam's brain creating
like it's
a Lucifer.
Seed.
It's actually there is actually some actual Lucifer that's come out of the cage as well.
Well, you know that would hold up because
I thought that the whole time. Isn't that what
right?
it is?
That's not explicitly in the canon.
Yeah, that's never stated.
That's not in the canon. Not explicitly stated, but Noah made that argument last week, and I could not get it out of my brain when I watched this episode.
Well,
so
that
thanks
makes
for
sense
that.
to me.
Canonically, that theory could very well hold up because I mean, even if you think about like when a character who's like a ghost, like they die because a piece of themselves was left behind. So it stands to reason that if Lucifer was at one point in Sam, could have easily left a shred of his own soul or whatever he has behind.
And you think like Sam, like Cass is pulling Sam out, accidentally leaves his soul, but maybe actually accidentally also, like maybe Lucifer grabs on, like Lucifer realizes.
Yeah, I never considered that either. Thank you for breaking my brain.
It made all of the hallucinations in this episode feel way more insidious because like it's insidious in a specific way if it's like primarily based on Sam's memory and like it's his memory creating the worst case Lucifer. It's like more terrifying if Lucifer has actually any agency here,
like sentience, like making deliberate choices.
If like he's which almost seems like I thought that, not to jump way ahead, but like I also thought that was kind of maybe sort of illustrated by like by like the fact that when Cass takes the psychosis, Lucifer says, "Hello, brother," which Lucifer wouldn't have said if Lucifer had taken it. If Cass had taken exactly Sam's psychosis, then theoretically it would still, the fact that it switched made me go, oh, sort of gave credence to your theory. So
it very much did.
But did it give a Creedence Clearwater Revival? Is the question. I'll see myself out.
Lucifer does say, he says, "You, me, locked ward, is it me or is this just like the cage?" And I couldn't help but think about the fact that like in that scene, like there are other people around, the door is unlocked, like Sam is not actually locked in a room, but Sam has been isolating himself in this singular room because I found
also
really
just isolated within his own mind. I mean, he's
what I mean is I don't think he can. I think that's why he's not leaving the room, even though he like theoretically could.
Yeah.
The amount of shit that Sam has to go through at this hospital, especially once the demons are all in charge and they start giving him some electroshock. That was rough.
No, a little bit of shade to them for like not securing this building against demons. Like feels like that's something you could have maybe done. should have maybe
Yeah.
done if you knew Sam was going to be there for a while.
I mean, and I guess
That's a good point.
part of their lack of concern about that is because Crowley told them, like, hey, you're off the
That's
menu
true.
for
That's
now.
probably why.
That's true, yeah, because Dean
Yeah.
is really surprised when he encounters demons later on in the
Yeah.
episode. He's like, why are you here? You're not supposed to be here.
That's true.
Which maybe that's a natural segue to the second half of the episode. The amount of shock that I felt when this demon falls to the ground and there's some feet there, and I was like, who the fuck's just watching this in shock? And then, oh,
Really?
oh,
I'm so glad you were shocked by this.
it's my boy.
Oh,
Yes.
no, I'm so glad.
think-
I've just
did you
assumed this whole time that you knew.
No, I mean, I knew he was
That's
going to
what
come
this
back at some
episode was
point.
I was so
You did
excited
not-
for this to be
You did
revealed.
not know it was this episode until
Nope.
he showed up.
No.
That's so good.
But
So
as soon as
good.
he
I
did,
can't express to you the amount of joy this brings to me, Noah.
You got the actual authentic reveal.
as soon as he did, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne. And it was all over.
Yeah, like, and this was one of those ones, like, season 7 was when I was actively watching it, like, as it aired. So I remember I nearly, like, threw, like, my phone across the room because I couldn't believe he was finally back.
Yes.
My notes went from nice and well kept to all caps, all caps, all caps. Yeah.
Valid.
The mirrors in this episode to Faith again. Like, the mirror of, I was thinking a lot about how Cass and like Emmanuel is sort of mirroring Roy in some pretty significant ways, I think.
Mm,
Oh, wow. Why
Yeah.
did my brain not ever do that?
I've never thought of it until this watch. I think it's just being immersed in it in a podcasting way that I've never been before.
That's
I also never made that parallel, but it's there. It's so strongly
neither.
there. The
especially
format
with
of this episode.
Sam, bringing it up earlier on, reminding you of it. And then, oh,
Yeah.
And Daphne says at one point, she's talking about Emmanuel, and she says Emmanuel has very special gifts, and I'm pretty sure that like Roy's wife says a very similar
like,
thing
yeah.
about
verbatim
him.
that.
yeah.
And like Roy's wife is like nefarious, like she's the one that summoned the Reaper, but like the parallels here are very interesting.
Mhm.
She's also like, Daphne knows more things than Emmanuel does, which is also true in Faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dean's face whenever Emmanuel Cass is like, oh yeah, this is my wife. Dean is like,
Your wife?
sorry, the fuck? That's
Excuse me?
It's like,
That
you've
is
been
not
gone for
me.
8 months and you've come back and you have a wife?
Now you're straight magically? What the fuck?
What happened to you, dude?
Who?
We hate magical compulsory
Which also-
sexuality.
Yeah, I want to report some concerns about the Daphne situation. Because when Cass tells Dean about it, he's like, she found me in a field.
Unclothed.
Yeah. And then she's like, she found me and cared for me. And then they got married and he doesn't remember anything. Girl,
That's 0 to
I
60
know.
way too fast.
like don't do that.
I mean, have
That's
you
so
have you
irresponsible.
seen Misha Collins?
Well, not entirely unclothed, so maybe that
Still.
would have changed some things. Misha
Still.
Collins is rocking a monster hog. That's what we're hearing.
Well, what I was going to say was on the flip side of that is like, what a whiplash this woman must go through to, find a naked man in the woods, marry him, and then he just disappears
Yeah.
forever without
You know-
any mention or acknowledgement.
Easy come, easy go.
But again, this is why you don't marry someone that you found that has amnesia until you maybe
Yeah.
find out some more
Well, yeah.
information. Like, or at least not after 8 months. Like if she found him and it had been a really long time and it was very clear he was like not going to get his memory back and he'd built a new life.
How
blah, blah, blah.
long is that in your eyes? Because I'm thinking
Longer
it's
than 8 months,
no, yeah. I think it's probably like 2 years
at
minimum.
least.
yeah.
Minimum.
And like a lot of psychotherapy.
Mm.
Also a lot of just like checks and balances, because also he has all these powers. Like that should be your
Yeah.
other thing. Like he's amnesiac and he has
He's
a bunch
so
of
casual
sneaky
about
powers.
it.
And you were just like,
special gift.
I'm just gonna marry.
Like,
I'm gonna
sweetie.
marry him. Like,
oh, he's got special gifts.
Noah.
Sit down, Noah.
I'm saying the same thing August is saying. I don't know why.
take it seriously now. Take this conversation seriously for 2
I'm sorry.
seconds.
Speaking of seriously, you mentioned it earlier. Well, okay, no, that's jumping too far ahead. We can't get to the trench coat yet. They run into Meg again. They find Meg. Meg's back.
Meg! I forgot Meg was in this
I'm
episode,
so
and I'm
happy
so happy about it.
for Jamie, like of
Mhm.
Driver Picks the Podcast. Come on, catch up.
Jamie's gonna be so happy.
You're gonna be so psyched about this episode for 2 reasons.
Yep.
It was very
This
good.
episode really like is just so good. This episode is not like one where I have complaints about, like any major complaints about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one and only is Daphne.
Yeah.
We've dealt with that. Yeah,
That's more of a like I have concerns about
Concerns
your
for her
decisions.
well-being.
But like the writing of it is really interesting. Like
I'm
Yeah.
also concerned that this hospital still even has electroshock
Oh,
that
yeah.
therapy
that's
Yep.
materials. Like, I
Not
know it's
good.
demon that's using them, but like, why does this hospital even have this?
Are they implying that it's
2000
always been
whatever
demons?
year it was.
Because like it felt like
well,
it was normal people.
The FDA did not ban it until 2020, and also
What the
Are you
fuck?
kidding?
And also
What?
a federal court overturned the ban because America is a hellscape. So like
They still use it today.
it's
Oh my
yeah.
God.
So the FDA has tried to like again they're trying to ban it. It's
Oh my God.
literally as recently as March of 2024, federal
Hmm.
regulators were taking a second try at like banning it to
Please.
manage
Please.
behavior.
And how much I hate it here yet.
Vote Harris, please. I can't stress this enough.
Listen.
Yes, we're not the Americans be political as much as they need to be.
Yeah,
Um,
listen, I'm not even gonna pretend to be apolitical at all. Vote for
No.
fucking good, or I'm coming for you.
Yeah. If you listen
can't-
to this show,
Can't let
Please
the
vote.
Cheeto
The
Puff get back
likelihood
into
that there are
power.
Trump supporters listening to us,
Oh,
and if
God,
there
if-
are Trump supporters listening
Get
to
the
us,
fuck out of here. I don't give a shit about
Think
y'all.
think
Stop
about
supporting-
think about the values that you hold and think about whether or not.
And reevaluate them, please.
Please.
Yeah.
I,
you're gonna need an
I love
overhaul
listens.
on your
I
entire
love getting listens.
ideology, and that's okay. We
But if
hope
they're-
that you.
Trump supporter
Find the light.
listens. We can do without them. It's alright. You're good. Find another podcast.
Anyway, sorry not to be really depressing about that, but like, yeah, the fact that this hospital still has this stuff is bad practice. Like, there's
Mhm.
even though it's not officially like outlawed, it's still like wildly like the researchers show like that.
Yeah,
This particular form of like this particular therapy is not.
quote unquote. There. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
not-
I'll be honest. Whenever I'm watching this episode, I do skip that part because it just.
It's really
It's
hard to
fair.
watch.
That's fair.
It's
No.
it's hard to watch what Sam goes through in this episode.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
But we didn't even talk about Marnie.
Marin.
Marin in her little connection with Sam is so sweet and genuine, and I do like those scenes the most of what Sam goes through. The way that he's going through fucking hell in his own mind, and he
This
still
is-
has the wherewithal to reach out to someone who has a problem that he thinks he can potentially solve, and he
I
does.
do
This
love
is
Sam
what I
Winchester
love about
a
Sam
lot.
Yeah,
is that even when he's going through literal hell with
Mhm.
the literal devil,
and she even's like, "What is it like? I don't know, the devil." And he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that."
yeah, he still is paying attention, and he's using the very small amount of energy that he has right now to help this person who he
And
knows that he can help.
He's still got so much capacity for compassion.
Oh my God, yeah.
And like that is, I think, one of my favorite Sam Winchester traits is his
Which is
capacity for
why
compassion.
season 6 was so hard to connect the characters, is because
Oh.
he had zero of it for the first half. Like,
yeah.
yeah, getting that back feels really good, and seeing it in his lowest point.
It
Ugh.
sucks because that has given him getting his soul back has given him gave him the capacity also for Lucifer
Yeah,
to have a
Yeah.
doorway in, and so that really sucks. It sucks that like Sam having his full humanity also means he has like he didn't have any of the hell trauma
yeah,
until he had his soul back, and
Yeah.
that like it really, really, really sucks. Like, and I feel like that's just sort of a true like. I like the metaphor there that's happening. You know,
Yeah.
like the whole like the real life metaphor of like you don't get to have all of the good things about being a human without the capacity for all of the shitty things,
Mhm.
that is good.
which is I
But
like.
wow.
It's like yeah.
Give these boys
I-
a break.
Yeah.
Please. But anyway, sorry.
Literally
They get Meg back, and her dynamic with Dean and Cass just being there oblivious to it all, and it's like, this silence is really uncomfortable. Should I know something? Is like something you guys aren't telling me? Like what's going on? He's still Cass. He's still Cass for sure. I
He's
love
still,
it.
yeah, and he's still kind of oblivious. And you're
Yeah.
like, yes, part of this is that you don't remember, and part of this is that like Cass was always really bad at picking up on like social cues.
Oh yeah.
But also, like, Meg is, like, Dean is trying to hide everything.
Downplay
and
it
trying
all.
to keep him from finding out who he is. But Meg is not trying
No.
at all.
What does she say?
She's
She
just like,
basically
oh yeah,
calls
we go
him-
way back. And then is like, Dean, obviously, I just met you.
Doesn't she straight up call him an angel, like as a compliment? Like,
She's-
oh, you're such an angel. And
Yeah,
Dean's
like,
shut the fuck up.
Poor Dean is so stressed out.
And
Oh.
Cass has no idea.
Nope. Oh, it's also worth talking about that Emmanuel, Cass, is so considerate that he's like, well, hey, so seems like something is going on with you. Like, let's talk about it. And Dean tells him, yeah, my best friend, wink, wink.
Oh my gosh, not Dean telling him the story without telling him the story.
Yes.
And telling like immediately. Dean's like, I know you don't remember, but I'm going to immediately tell you.
Zero hesitation.
I just love that for him.
Yeah, it's
The
too
fact that
real.
it's so, and like we haven't seen, this is the most we've seen Dean talk about his feelings in like since Cass has been gone.
That just says so much about how comforted he is by the mere presence of a Castiel, whether or not it's the real
Well,
full
you know I don't
Cass.
like it when you make me have feelings.
I know, just wait, we haven't gotten to mixtape yet. But then once they realize that the hospital is overrun by demons, Dean's like, well, only got the one knife, and Meg is, on the same power level as most of them. So we need our big cannon, But Meg being the one to talk him into that is beautiful and glorious.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Dean motherfucking Winchester has carried this trench coat with him throughout how many different cars? How many months on the run?
How many
How
different
many-
cars?
Gah!
Like he's been transporting it and moving it between cars.
Yep.
That's the thing. Is it like this is not just like he took it out of the river and he put it in the Impala.
No, and it's not like he's put it in this car and it's now at the back because he's had to put so much stuff in here. It's very clearly, right here, where I always put it whenever I get a new car. Oh, it's right on top.
Question for all of you: do we think Sam knows about the fact that Dean has the
Oh,
trench coat?
for sure. There's no way
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Because
Yeah.
Dean is trying to hide it for sure.
Yeah.
Like I would believe
That's
Dean
exactly
is trying to
why
hide it.
Sam knows.
Sam
Yep.
knows. Yeah,
I think
Sam knows for sure.
He might have been able to get away with it for a month, but then once they've gone through multiple car switches and Dean's like,
Yeah,
oh, well,
there's
let me
no
grab
way
my
that
stuff
Sam
out of the
doesn't
back.
know.
Yeah, it's there. It's pretty clear.
Okay, good. Glad we're on the same page.
Sam is doing the Sam thing and like giving it to Dean and pretending like he doesn't know, but he does know.
Maybe there was one car change where Dean was like off getting the food or something and Sam did the car change and he made sure to bring that too. And then Dean was like, oh wait, I forgot something. And Sam's like, you didn't, but okay. Go ahead and check. It's okay.
It's fine. I don't have any feelings.
Nope, none at all.
Again, when we're talking about Sam's compassion, like again, I think that's another example of like that's Sam's been caring for Dean in the ways that he knows how.
I constantly want to call Sam and Dean on this creepy ice cream truck that rolls around my neighborhood at 11:30 p.m.
Maybe you should
Oh,
call
God.
Jonathan
Wait, there's
Sims.
an ice cream truck that rolls out at 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, did you not just hear that creepy ice cream truck roll by?
Well, you were pretty
No.
I had
good
to be-
at muting it.
Because the creepy ice cream truck rolled by, and it'll keep doing so.
Weird. That is creepy.
Yeah, it's totally probably sells ice cream. I was going to say that, like, I definitely believe that Sam knows about it, but I don't think that Dean knows that Sam knows.
Yeah.
I think Dean thinks he's been stealthy this whole time, but Sam.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And Dean also like wouldn't be able, like it would be too much to admit it to himself that Sam knows. So even if his subconscious sort of knows that
Yeah.
Sam must know, he's gonna be like, no, Sam doesn't know.
Yeah, and they're both playing the game.
Also, the fact
Sam
that
is
he's
playing
never
that game.
once washed it. It's still got blood and black goo over it. Like, sir,
It
wash
still
it.
smells like Cass,
Washed it?
probably, or it probably did for a
Why
while.
would
That's why he hasn't washed it.
Why would you say
Oh my
that?
God.
It probably doesn't still, but it would have at the beginning. Like, that's why he didn't wash it,
No,
clearly.
you're so right. That's exactly it.
It's got the remains of Cass, like the only thing he had left.
I can't believe
Can't
you've
wash
done this.
that off.
Wow.
And the fact that he also like immediately is like, you need this back because this is the thing I associate with you.
I am unwell.
It's so cute.
But sorry, August, you wanted to go back to a fire.
I wanted to go back to just when Dean is telling Emmanuel the story, and he says,
Yes.
like, I just know this whole thing couldn't be messier. I used to be able to shake these things off, what Cass did. I just can't. I don't know why. And I was just thinking about how, like, I don't think, as much as we've talked about, like, Dean and Cass's, like, relationship, I don't know that Dean fully, even at this point, even if, you know, our headcanons are all correct, even if they've, you know, they were hooking up in season 5, even if they have a pretty established relationship, I don't know that Dean is emotionally there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
mature.
think I think when he says, I don't know why, I don't know if he realizes that, like, what he has with Cass has not just been, like, a fling or, like, a, like, experiment.
Best
or,
friends
like,
with
a
benefits.
best friends with benefits. Like, I don't know that Dean has actually grasped that he's in love with Cass. And I think when he says, like, I don't know why I can't shake this off, it's because, like, why he can't shake this betrayal off compared to other ones is because, like, you're in love, babe. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean,
she put that
to
up.
be
And, like,
fair,
yeah.
it's got to be hard for him to distinguish what love is truly. Because, you know, from John's perspective, love
Not
for
like
him.
he had great examples of it growing up.
Exactly.
Literally zero.
And by the time Bobby got involved, like, Bobby was single. Like,
Yeah. Has the man ever seen a healthy relationship?
no, I don't think so. Damien and Barnes might be the closest he's gotten.
Oh,
Wow.
good Lord. That's not great.
What a valid point you've made.
Boy.
Him and Lisa got close, but it was always doomed because the narrative.
Wow.
Cass saying to Dean in that moment too, like he says, Dean says, I don't know why. And Cass says it doesn't matter why. And Dean says, of course it matters. And then Cass says, you're not a machine, Dean, you're human. Which is like, boy.
This
Can we-
episode.
Can we that might be my point. That might be my point to segue into
Do it.
into some mixtape. And I had a really hard time choosing my mixtape today. But I ended up settling on the first one that like really jumped out to me in my Castiel playlist, and that is Invisible String by Taylor Swift.
Ooh.
The acute discomfort and sadness that has overwhelmed me this moment.
Elena was like just sort of sitting there, like doing their thing, listening to the conversation, participating, and all of a sudden Elena just stops moving.
I have frozen.
You're welcome. But like, I want to like that whole song like starts with like these like, you know, all these memories of each other and these memories of like connection. And then it goes into like, you know, were there clues they didn't see? Isn't it just so pretty to think there was some invisible string tying you to me? And I like think about Dean and Cass's relationship to this point. Like, you know, one single thread of gold tied me to you. Like,
Feeling good about that? Feeling good
What?
about that choice right now, August?
what? I feel very good about this
Yeah,
choice.
it just hurts.
I just want to read you all of the lyrics and make you feel all of the things that I'm feeling. But I'm just going to recommend that you go and listen to the song. If you haven't listened to Invisible String by Taylor Swift in a while, listen to it. Think about Castiel in this episode. You'll feel fine.
I love that. I was going to make you guys listen to my song at the end of this anyway, so we'll just do a little round robin.
There we go. That sounds great. There are multiple Invisible String Castiel videos on
bet.
YouTube.
Of
So I would
course
recommend
there
if you've seen the whole show, go
Yeah.
and watch a couple of those because they're also excellent. Noah, you can't.
Yeah, I'm staying away. I hear you.
Not for a bit.
Speaking
Sorry,
of
eventually.
emotionally decimating the rest of the people on the chat, I went with Broken in All the Right Places by Lost Kings featuring Mod Sun. And this one is very good, very, very well written song. Love it. But it really fits with Dean and Cass. And this was one of the first songs I put on my mixtape recommendations. Just needed the right spot to plug it in. This
You've been
feels
waiting.
like it. So the lyrics, just right off the start, it says, "Don't tell me that this has to end. We've always hung on by a thread. Whatever is ripped, we'll tape it because we're broken in all the right places."
The theme of like being hung on by a thread. That's like the same theme. No.
Now the chorus, lay here in my arms until we cry. Let's try and forget who's in the right.
No.
Our story started with goodbye. Always loved as if it's do or die.
Well,
That's
that's cool.
Elena has left the chat.
Elena's camera is off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking phenomenal, and I will be making you guys listen to it.
Yes.
Well-
that's excellent.
I've decided to keep the field train going. Invisible String made me think, oh, wait, I have a playlist called Castiel, Taylor's version. So let me go find another one. So if you're going to do a folklore song, I'm going to do an Evermore song. Oh, wait, no. Oh, gosh. No, I'm sorry. This one is actually Red. I forgot. So this one's on Red, Taylor's version. My song for this episode is State of Grace, Taylor's version.
No.
I mean, the title should say it all,
Yep.
but some of the lyrics that we have that just really get me. So you were never a saint, and I loved in shades of wrong. We learned to live with the pain, mosaic broken hearts, but this love is brave and wild, and I never saw you coming.
Jesus.
There's also that line in that song about like the hands of fate, which like also ties to the whole idea of like an invisible string or like a string, like that sort of.
Yeah, like
These
the
two-
chorus is like, I'll never be the same. This is a state of grace. This is a worthwhile fight. Love is a ruthless game. Unless you play it good and right, these are the hands of fate. You're my Achilles heel in this golden age of something good and right and real.
You know what? We're all trying to hurt each other. But you
I
know
don't know
what
why I
I
like
think
this.
will help with that? One final mixtape suggestion.
Yeah, my mixtape is not on the Fields train. My mixtape is a silly one.
But it's
So-
good.
Oh,
It's
So you're
very
gonna
good.
you're gonna transition us right back into this discussion.
Yes.
Yeah. My mixtape choice is My Boyfriend's Back by the Angels.
No. Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I envisioned it like being played while we get Cass back, while Cass is like smiting all the demons. It's like,
Oh.
my boyfriend's back, and the lyrics are like, my boyfriend's back and you're gonna be in trouble. Look out, he's coming after you. He's been gone for so long. And now he's back.
That old timey song playing over that smiting scene.
Wouldn't
Oh
that
my
be
God.
funny?
It would
Excellent.
be so good.
Wait, am I going to edit that? Am I totally going to edit
Please.
that?
I think you have
Edit
to.
it. If you edit it, we will put it in the episode description.
Wait,
If
what's
it's
this song
gonna
called
edit.
again? Let me write
Wait.
this down.
My Boyfriend's Back by the Angels.
It's
Oh.
like a song from
My
the
Angels.
60s.
I've got the
Oh,
music
God.
video queued up and ready for us.
Yeah,
afterwards. It's so
we're
good.
gonna watch the music. We're gonna watch the music videos once we are turned off the recording. We're gonna
Yes,
watch
yes,
the music
yes.
videos.
But speaking of how good that would be in that scene, we get another fucking montage of memories flooding back into Cass.
Yeah, I mean, that seems already good.
95% are about Dean and about how good they are and about everything that's happened. And it couldn't be messier, in the words of Dean Winchester. But wow,
Mm-hmm.
it hit me right in the heart and the soul.
Excellent use of a montage flashback.
Yes.
It also reminded me that, like, just how, like, epic Castiel entrance scenes are.
Constantly.
No matter the season, no matter the place. Like, Homeboy loves to be
Yeah.
a dramatic entrance. That's how you know he's a homosexual, because he
Mm-hmm. I
can't
was
just show
literally
up on the
thinking that
screen.
same
He has
It's gotta
to
be all about
break all
him.
the lights and extend his wings, or he has to, like, smite a bunch of demons to save his boyfriend who saved his jacket that smelled like him.
Yep.
Right? Like,
Yep.
gay
Have
people
emotions
like
and
to
feelings.
put on a show, like to put
Yeah,
on a
they
little
do.
performance.
Ugh.
And
Amen.
suddenly
Praise
he's
Cass
very
always.
suddenly like whatever about Daphne. He's just driving off with Dean like immediately, even before he realizes, even before he knows who he is, he's driving off with Dean, which like that's bold.
Yep. Especially
like-
because when they talk about everybody else that's come to Emmanuel to be saved, they all had to come to him. This time he's like, yeah, I'll go with you.
Yeah, and someone dies right in front of him immediately. And like, yes, there's this like threat of demons, and so like there's a little bit of the like, you know how to deal with this, but also
Well,
there's
it's
the
also, I think his like inherent trust in Dean is there whether he remembers him or not.
Yeah, he's so comfortable right off the bat with this
Mhm.
stranger.
right, this stranger who's like wrapped up in all this really, really violent, scary stuff.
I also, as we're mentioning slightly silly moments in this episode, I have to say one of my favorite like underrated moments of the episode is how'd you come up with Emmanuel? Bouncingbabynames.com.
That was good.
Beautiful.
Because like you hear it and you immediately are like, oh, there must be some biblical reference to this, and then nope, baby
No.
name stuck.
Nope.
He
I like
just
it.
liked it.
I like it because he like clearly just liked it, but also there is all those like biblical references and the idea like Emmanuel like sort of means like God with us. Like there's that sort of like it's a really interesting choice of religious names for them to use. Like,
Especially
they don't use a
because
prophet's name; they use like a
That's-
name for God
yeah,
or like a
And
reference to God
it
specifically.
can't be a coincidence that the most famous song with this name in it has "come" in it twice.
Easy now.
Oh boy.
This is what I'm here
Sometimes-
for. This is what I'm here for. Okay.
I'm never gonna think about that song the same. Thank
Isn't that
you.
isn't that what this is all
So
about though? Like
much.
just unraveling your evangelical past by
Yes.
like reassociating all those things with something much worse.
Yes.
That's what we're here for at the Supernatural podcast. TM symbol.
Meg says, you're an angel, and Cass says he's a lot of flirtation.
Oh my gosh.
Very funny.
So Cass. So Cass.
So Cass. So directly Cass.
I can't help but notice that we got so close to the ending and it felt like nobody wanted to talk about it. And so now we're looping back to other funny bits from the episode because we don't want to face what happens in the last few minutes.
I have
The
a
last
few
few
more
minutes
notes
don't happen.
earlier.
Okay,
I have
okay,
a
You
few
okay.
more.
don't acknowledge them,
No,
they
no.
can't hurt you.
That's fair. That's fair. Please, I want us to say it all. Absolutely. And if you've got notes, please bring them up.
I do have notes. I do like really appreciate that the moment where Cass figures out who he is like when Meg says, "You used to fight together," looks at Dean, says, "Best of friends," and then he immediately is like, "Am I Cass?"
Yep.
Which I love that intuitive enough, and also I love that Meg is the one that gets to kind of guide him to that realization
Yeah. And-
right after he thinks that Meg is flirting with him.
Yeah. And quite gently, in demon terms, like that's pretty subtle and pretty kind of her to not just be like, "You are an angel, you're Castiel." Like she does it in
She
a
does
nice
listen
way.
to Dean. She respects the he's requesting that she doesn't just reveal it.
Yeah.
Which is wild when you think about all the shit that their characters have been through together at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like sometimes I forget when I watch this particular, it's Rachel Miner, I think, when, like, when she plays Meg, I forget, like, what is it, Born Under a Bad Sign?
Oh,
Like,
God.
damn, like, that episode, she's fucking evil. And just to see, like, how far she's grown as a character is really cool.
Her
Yeah.
initial entrance into the show is her, wildly manipulating them.
Sam, right?
I mean, she's one
Yeah.
of the earliest enemies that they face. She's
Yeah.
kind of like the season one big bad, almost.
Whoa. Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, besides John.
Yeah.
She,
I'm always here for the John Winchester slander.
Subtitle of our podcast.
yeah. We're saving people crank things. The John
What is
Winchester
next
Slander
time on
Show.
the John Winchester slander cast.
I do think it's really interesting that as soon as Cass remembers, he says, "I remember everything," which is like such a essential Cass sort of thing. Like remembering is sort of a core piece of his identity.
Yeah.
But then also that Dean, like they fall immediately back into their old patterns where like Dean is chasing Cass and like begging him to stay, like immediately. Immediately, Cass is like, "I remember everything," and Cass is like, "I'm a dip," and Dean's like,
Right.
Dean's like,
Don't.
bitch, don't you dare.
The whole reason we got you was because Sam needs us. Needs
Well,
you.
and also Dean, it's interesting because when Cass was gone, he was like, he betrayed me. Like there was so much frustration and so much anger and so much betrayal and hurt. And now that Cass is back, he's like, if you remember, you did the best you could at the time.
Mhm.
And like suddenly Dean is able to sort of set that aside because of the fact, like he's like,
Well, it's
Cass is
easy
like,
to hold on to that anger if you think you're never going to have the catharsis of seeing that person again. But then once they're back in once you're faced with them again, like,
Yeah.
it's like that all goes away because you're like, damn, like this is the person that I loved and cared about. Like you don't think about all the resentment that you have towards them. You see their face and you think about all of the good things.
Yeah. I also think that the perspective that Dean has on that now is something that Bobby said almost verbatim to him about like, like, hey, he was struggling. Like, he didn't know what he was doing. He did the best he could once he realized he was
Ooh,
in the wrong.
yeah.
Like, once he realized he wasn't making the right decision, he did the best that he could to try to fix it. He sacrificed himself for that too. Like, that feels like now that Bobby's not there to say that, Dean's making sure that he does.
Right, it's actually sunk in. Well, and even like Dean says, which I think is sort of indicated, like when Dean, like Cass says, like, we didn't part friends, and Dean's like, so what? Like, Cass is sort of, I can't possibly fix it. Why did I even walk out of the river? And Dean's like response is maybe to fix it. Like, maybe you get another chance. Maybe you get another chance. Maybe this is your actual other chance. That line is really iconic. That whole interaction.
It hurts to see, but it's been a long time coming.
Oh my God, have you guys ever seen the movie What a Girl Wants with Amanda Bynes?
No.
I promise it's relevant.
Have I seen?
There's a song called Long Time Coming that's in that. Colin Firth in it.
Oh yeah, it's like a good cast. I feel like I've maybe seen this movie, but I don't
I've
know.
eternally been mad about that song that's called Long Time Coming because you cannot find it like on streaming platforms because I don't think they ever put out like an official CD for the movie or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, don't mind me.
I also thought that I one like final kind of disconnected to anything else note, but like I also thought the psych ward has some really similar visuals to season 2 episode 1 In My Time of Dying.
Ooh.
We have like mostly empty halls, this sort of like liminal space between life and death sort of feeling, like similarly to when Dean was almost dying.
Which that's our first angel appearance in the show, right? Because Tessa comes in on that episode.
Well,
She's
Tessa's
not
a Reaper.
Well, yeah, but don't they clarify later on that Reapers are a type of angel?
Sort of gray area.
Oh, my bad. I thought
Yeah,
that
I
was
was gonna say, I
something
don't
they
remember that
established.
bit of lore.
They're not actually angels. They are beings, but they are like,
They're celestial beings, but they're not like on the same power scale, I feel.
yeah,
Okay.
they're not technically angels. They have very specific powers.
I thought they were like a class of angels.
No.
Like they were like the lowest class, and then there's
No.
like seraphim, cherubim, whatever. Okay.
What's funny though is I just recently, like the other day, watched an episode that has another class of angel in season 9.
Whoa.
Right.
August
Where do you get there?
9th, man.
I do know what you're talking about. Where do you get there?
5 months. We
I
got
know
this.
what you're talking about too.
Oh, you've seen that one? Oh, I can't remember what seasons you've seen or not.
It's up to 9.
I stopped at 9.
Oh, okay.
You've seen like till the end of 9, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that wasn't meant as a diss. I wasn't sure if you'd seen that one.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine.
Speaking of new versions of angels, it's this where Cassifer starts.
Who can say?
Who can
Who
say?
can say?
Who can
Me.
say?
Me, maybe. I'm gonna say this is where Cassifer begins because Cass takes on Lucifer.
What's Cassifer?
Cassifer.
Like we sometimes say Samifer for like when Lucifer was and Sam were like in the same body.
It's like
But
the
like we
verbal.
Lucifer
sometimes
was
say word redacted for season 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a mashup of their names to be like, that's when
But I'm not going to say anything.
Don't say anything. Yeah.
Noah has seen a term flying around the internet and is trying to figure out where it came
Yeah,
from.
Gotcha.
And it could be this, it could not be this. Who could say?
Who knows? All I know is that
but yeah,
Cass
let's-
now has Lucifer inside of him.
Well,
I'm just thinking about in Community when the dean is
I also heard the community reference.
Didn't we just talk about Community on Repo Man too?
Yeah.
Community is-
It's a
yeah.
whenever we get an opportunity. I mean,
Anytime.
I think
Yeah,
about community a
it's-
lot, literally on my
it's
arm.
Literally, Community hovers above me.
Yeah.
And on your shirt.
What was I going to say? Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about what Cass decides to do
You can't put the wall.
without talking to Dean again. Without talking to Dean, which like is again he's trying to help, but I'm like,
It's classic Cass.
It is classic Cass,
It's
and he is
classic,
fixing his
I'm going to
mistake.
sacrifice myself because I fucked up and I want Dean to be happy.
And I think that this is the best way to fix my mistake.
Yeah, it really does keep with the pattern of him not asking Dean what he thinks because he knows that Dean is probably going to discourage him from trying to protect him.
yeah.
Well, and that Dean like wouldn't necessarily like I think would Dean have let him do it? Like maybe because this is Sam and maybe they think, oh, maybe Cass will be able to handle it in a way that Sam couldn't because Cass is an angel. But
Which is fair.
it's like two terrible possibilities. It's like Cass, this is not going to be better for Cass, as clearly it's not better for Cass immediately.
And he has like a physical reaction reaction to it. Like there's some, special effects crawling its way up his arms and into his eyes and everything. Like that's intense.
Well, that also like is a good maybe proof of Noah's theory of having it be like there's a bit of Lucifer actually in there.
Yeah, because
Could be. Who can say?
Causes a visceral reaction.
Yeah.
I'm there for it. I need to know what's coming next.
Well, and like, yeah, this is like the biggest episode of the season so far, and like a really big episode in terms of like what's happening now.
Yeah.
And
It didn't
also
even have
like,
any Leviathans in it. Like,
no.
Yeah.
Aren't we all the better for it?
Really.
I fucking hate them as villains.
Elena, are you not a fan of the wait? Is Elena not a fan of the Leviathan storyline?
Wait, what?
Noah, what did I say to you? That season 7 was one big dick joke.
I know.
Am I wrong?
No, but I'm liking it. It's funny.
Yeah, see, and what did we say? I said Noah was gonna like season 7. I said Noah's gonna find it funny.
Partially because it is, partially because
There's a lot of
know.
Bobby in this season, and I think you really appreciated
a lot of Bobby.
the amount of Bobby.
Supernatural take it away.
There's a lot of Bobby until there wasn't, but
It's fine. I don't want to cry this episode.
We'll move on.
Just for one last final funny line, my last note is we don't even have friends. All our friends are dead.
Which
Oh my gosh.
It's said in a very funny way, but is deeply depressing.
is so sad.
It's so true.
Because it is true, and it's like, oh wait, no, there's.
Man.
Oh wait, no. Wait, what about? No.
No, literally all of them.
But what if nope?
Frank is presumed dead. He's the one that's like no body, no
But is
crime.
Frank really their friend?
I think so. I think Dean and Frank are friends. They will never admit that to each other, but they do deeply
True.
love each other. August and I talked about that whenever he disappeared. And, like,
Yeah.
there's a very real care there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like
They bonded.
it's not the worst loss they've experienced this season, but it is
No.
a loss on top of a lot of other losses.
Oh,
and
God.
they don't have many people left on their who's left on their list.
It's just
Like Meg
Garth.
is and Meg. Like Meg is
yeah.
one of the closest things they have to a friend. And like Garth isn't even really that much of a friend. Garth is a guy that they
No.
did one hunt with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Meg, who has been mostly an enemy and now is sort of a reluctant ally.
And maybe Crowley, but TBD.
But again,
Kelly is kind of the same thing as
the
Meg.
actions in this episode kind of feel
mutually
like,
assured destruction.
yeah,
Crowley is keeping your enemy closer still, I feel.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's really it. I can't
Really?
even-
Yeah, I have no notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Out.
the last of my notes. I love this episode.
I'm still not well over the coat smells like him.
Aw.
And I don't want to deal with it.
Okay.
Do you think that when Dean was like, anytime Dean was having like a bad day, he'd just like go out and pull the coat out from the trunk and just like
Sam,
hold it?
Hey Sam, we're gonna move on to blessings before everybody starts crying.
How
in the
many
chat.
times did Dean get? How many
Elena's gone
times
again.
did Dean get drunk and end up
Oh.
like
Oh,
with
that
the coat?
too. That too.
Do you think? Okay, there's no
August, I
chance
wish
he
I
ever.
could turn your video off for just a second.
He never.
Like,
He
I was
never
like,
wore it,
oh.
right? He never put it on. He would hold
Are we
it
sure about
never
that?
put
and
it
would
on.
smell it,
He
but
just
I don't
held
think he
it.
would put it on.
Are
think
we
he,
sure
like-
about that?
He would like
No.
cuddle it.
No, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't have put it on out of respect.
No, but he would spoon it.
Yes.
He would. That's what I mean. He would like
No, but I
cuddle
think
it.
I'm thinking like very, very in a very bad drunk space, needing to be
Oh.
enveloped and hugged by it. That's the only scenario where
Maybe
I
in
think
a
that
very
would be
drunk
possible.
space.
he would put it
I
on
don't think
backwards.
sober.
And
I just think
his
would
arms
put it
behind
on
his back,
backwards.
like it's hugging him.
That I can see him doing when drunk.
Aww, that's really sad and
Oh,
also very
no.
funny.
Like a cat, like just a Castiel snuggie. Just
Shit.
hated it as soon as I said it.
But I'm proud of you for saying it anyway.
Thanks, Noah.
Now that we've gotten through so many different emotions and stages of denial, it's time for our final and favorite section of the episode. It's our character blessings. Who would you guys like to bless this episode?
Guess who I'd like to blast?
Ooh,
I'm
Sam?
gonna let Elena and Sam cage match it out for who's picking first.
Don't.
I'm pretty sure you want different characters. I'm just gonna wait and see what's left.
I would like to bless Dean
What?
because his boyfriend is is alive, but now he's like dead inside, and it's just not fun. Don't like it. I just want them to be able to snuggle together.
This is the CW.
It
I don't
is
think that's
terrible.
Reaching for the stars here? Not
It
really.
does suck that they get Cass back and then immediately kind of lose him again.
Immediately.
Like,
Like, I don't know why the narrative insists on punishing Dean in this particular specific way, but just let him hug his angel.
Because he's gay.
it's because he's gay. That's why the narrative hates him.
I know, but
August, how about you?
Oh, Sam wanted to go. So
Oh,
let Sam
sorry.
go.
Yep, I put it
Don't
in
you fucking dare.
I put it in the document already, so I
Wasn't
thought
gonna
that you had
take. I
already
wasn't
said
gonna
it.
take who you
great.
want.
I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't gonna take who you want.
Thanks
Like,
so much. It'll be no surprise to anybody. I am blessing Sam.
blessing Sam?
I
don't
know.
because this never happened on
What? Weird. I mean, I don't know. It's just rough.
mhm.
Yeah.
Having a really rough time.
Like,
And
why
it
are
really,
we
really
blessing him? Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Did you watch the
Um,
episode? He needs it.
He needs it. Yeah, that's all
he
I have to
does.
say.
He does. And like, even though he's now free of Lucifer,
You know he's gonna have guilt that
He's
that
not
Cass
gonna
took
be.
him.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
yeah, like
it's,
you can't suck someone's trauma out
no.
like that.
No, he's carrying that shit with him forever, along
Yeah.
with all the other shit that he already carries.
I was gonna say, backpack's getting pretty dense there.
It's not a backpack; it's a fucking suitcase at this
Triple
point.
The
sized.
Mary Poppins bag.
Yeah.
That
Oh, there
It's
we
actually
go.
just a wagon that he
Out.
pulls behind him.
Like a full size.
Yeah, you know, like the
Settler's wagon.
Grinch's, like
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yes,
or the
yeah.
sled. Yeah,
In the
It's just
animated Grinch
piled.
version,
Yes. just piled
just-
high.
he's slowly drowning in the snow because
Yes.
every step he takes.
Exactly.
I am going to bless Cass.
No,
I just
way.
want it written like on the record that I typed all of these in as soon as
Good
yeah,
job.
I mean, I was gonna
Like-
bless Dean, but someone got there first.
yep, as soon as that was the one, either or.
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy blessing Cass. Yeah, I'm gonna bless Cass because shit, getting all your memories back in one fell swoop, including a lot of really shitty memories. That's a lot. And then immediately making the decision to be like, the only way to fix this is by sort of taking on an immense amount of someone else's trauma. Like, that takes a lot of guts.
Yeah.
And a lot of care and a blessing for Cass handling all of that and surviving all of that. And for the fact that now he's like semi alone. Like, I know Meg's there, but like they don't know each other really.
No.
Yeah.
Like, Meg's not a friend at this point. She'll protect him, keep him safe, but like he's kind of on his own again. And that really sucks. So a blessing for Cass.
on his own because he's on his own with hallucination.
with Lucifer.
Right, he's not actually on his own. He's like the worst kind of not alone.
The
the worst
literal
kind of not
devil
alone.
sitting in your head.
Yeah. So yeah, a blessing for Cass to survive this
Mm.
next thing.
What a beautiful blessing that was.
I'm gonna go ahead and bless Marin because she went
Hell yeah.
through the fucking ringer before this episode happened and during this episode. I can only imagine how hard it is to lose a sibling that you were super close with
Mhm.
and then to hear them constantly in a very distorted and twisted way talking about how the afterlife is the worst and I miss you and I just want you to be here with me and you should take drastic measures to make that happen. That would not be easy for anybody. And she reaches out and gets help. We don't know how she ended up at the hospital, but it's a healthy step, feels like, because she does end up in the right room at the right time with the right person that can actually help solve her issue. And they do. And I like to think that she makes it out, gets home, goes to a new place, somewhere that's not here. So blessings to
Yeah.
Marin.
That's a beautiful, beautiful blessing to end us off
Thank
today.
you.
Yeah.
They were all very good. But that brings us right to the end of this week's episode. Thank you guys all so much for coming on. This was a really great
Yeah.
conversation.
Mhm.
I'm glad we were all on this one. This
Yeah.
was a good
An
one to be
important
on.
one for the
Mhm.
quartet to take on.
We've been waiting for this one. I'm very
Yeah.
glad we're here.
And now it's weird. Elena's like happy to be on the episodes. Like, what? No, I'm kidding. It's all
Look, even
valid.
episodes that I hate, I am happy to be on because it means I get to hang out with y'all.
Aw, shucks.
Yeah.
That said, fuck season 7.
Well, it's almost done. You've
You're so
almost
close.
made it.
So close.
But yeah, if you want to listen to the rest of season 7, you can make sure that you are subscribed to Saving People Queering Things wherever you listen to podcasts, whatever platform you use. And if you like the show, maybe share with a friend. If you have a friend who likes Supernatural, if you have a friend who you want to like Supernatural, you know, if you want to inflict this CW monstrosity on the people you care about, and they need a podcast to help them along, we are here for you. And if you want to talk,
Are we an
And only you
infomercial
can
now?
prevent forest fires.
Yes, we are here for you.
Have you gotten drama? Do you want to give it to your friends? Try Saving People Queering Things.
And if you want to connect with us on other platforms like our social media, you can join our free Discord server, find links to all of our social media platforms, and listen to the full season mixtape. And that is all available at our website, which is queeringthingspodcast.com.
Also available on our podcast is our other show, Queering People Saving Throws, which is all of us, along with KJ of Supernatural Opinions. We are playing a queer D&D adventure that Noah is the DM for, and it is a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Listen along.
It's so much fun and
That one
becoming
is cool.
about 75% of Elena's personality.
Yes.
Love.
Be sure to ride along with us next week as we explore season 7, episode 18, titled Party on Garth, where Shirley, the one and only DJ Qualls, returns, the queer icon of the show, but this time we're viewing it through the theme of impairment.
This is such a fun episode.
I'm
Well,
so
I'm
ready.
so excited.
I
It's
can't
good.
wait to hear that one. That's going to be one that's going to be really fun to listen to.
It's a good time. It's the episode I think of as Garth's first episode, even though it's
Yeah,
not.
me too.
Yeah, I actually,
Okay.
I forgot that it
Iconic
wasn't.
Garth.
They've got to be doing drugs in this episode, right?
I
They've
don't know.
got to be.
You have to wait and see,
don't confirm,
Noah.
don't deny, but
Who
party
can say I
on.
have to? Wait
impairment,
and see.
Gotta
Wait
be
and
drugs.
see.
I'm ready.
Thank you all for coming along for the ride, and we wish you a peaceful road until we meet again.